78 Sports TV here. Alright guys, I'm going to try to make this short and sweet, but I got a quick question for the YTBC out there. All you boxing fans, I want y'all to keep it real with me for a minute. Which is the more impressive resume? A fighter with 26 wins and 5 losses. 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Alright? Let me repeat that. Which is the more important or more impressive resume? A fighter with 26 wins, 22 wins coming by way of knockout and only 5 losses, or a fighter with 180 wins, 120 wins coming by way of knockout and only 20 losses? Which is the more impressive resume? I'll give y'all a minute to think about that. Now, if you're being honest, most of you would have said, well, the guy with 180 wins and 120 knockouts and only 20 losses is more impressive than a guy with 26 wins and 5 losses, right? Here lies the problem. Neither one of them shows you, neither one of those records shows you who has the better resume. Too often boxing fans confuse record with resume, okay? Let me explain that. A record, you can say this guy is 180 and 20 losses. That's his record. 180 wins, 20 losses. But his resume is when you peel back the record and look into the level of competition. Look into who he beat. Okay? When did he fight who? Right? That is where you find out what the resume looks like. So now, the fighter with 26 losses, with 26 wins and 5 losses, that fighter was ferocious Fernando Vargas. And the fighter with 180 wins, 120 knockouts, and only 20 losses was Buck Smith. Many of you remember Buck Smith, right? He is the definition of a journeyman. He is the proper definition of a journeyman fighter. Buck Smith had a mean left hook. Right? Mean left hook. Very active fighter. One of the most active fighters in boxing history. Definitely the most active fighter in our era of boxing. Okay? Buck Smith started fighting in the late 80s, and his last fight was in like 2009 or something like that. 2007 or 2009. So he came into this era. Alright? But over 180 wins, 120 knockouts, and 20 losses, and Buck Smith ain't fought nobody. I should say he ain't beat nobody. Okay? The dude was literally fighting bums. No exaggeration. No, I'm not trying to be funny. He was literally fighting bums. Buck Smith sometimes used to fight 12 times in a month. Okay? You have to be fighting bums to fight 12 times in a month. Okay? This is what I was trying to explain to people a long time ago. Alright? It's no way you can fight top quality competition. Dudes who can fight. Dudes who can punch. Right? This is the example I gave years ago was, imagine Muhammad Ali fighting Joe Frazier on Friday. And then on that Monday, okay, a few days later, he's fighting George Foreman. And then by the following week, he's fighting Joe Frazier in a rematch again. No fucking way would he be able to do that. His body would endure too much punishment. It would inflict too much damage on his body. Fighting real fighters like that. Okay? So whenever, I'm always skeptical when I see dudes fighting a bunch of times in 1 month. Always skeptical. And I'm always proven right. So, Buck Smith has fought absolutely, or has beaten absolutely nobody except for Kirkland Lane. The highlight of Buck Smith's career, out of the 180 wins, 120 knockouts, and 20 losses, the highlight of his career was in 1990, he defeated Kirkland Lane. And the highlight of Kirkland Lane's career was, once upon a time, he outpointed Roberto Duran. And he ain't did shit else. That's it. So Buck Smith beat a guy who got lucky and beat a guy. Other than that, Buck Smith has not done shit when it comes to all-time great status. Okay? But his record looks like an all-time great record. And I think too often boxing fans confuse record and resume. This is why, okay, I don't talk about, like, people, like when we did our video, we were naming the top 100 fighters. And somebody in the comment section was asking, like, why didn't I mention this guy or that guy? And I'm like, well, you know, I know the name. The name sounds like, you know, I know the name from boxing history. I've read articles that this guy was a great fighter. But when I look at the guy's resume, I don't know none of the people on the resume. So that could be a testament to my boxing knowledge, where I need to do more research. Or it could be that the guy was just fighting a bunch of fucking bums. Right? He had a good record for fighting a bunch of fucking bums. That's a possibility as well. So I'm not going to talk shit and talk out of my ass and just name somebody because boxing history says that this guy once upon a time was great. He had a great record. Oh, look, he had 72 wins and only 2 losses. All right, then I start looking at the resume, and I'm like, who the fuck is Donald McDermott? Who the fuck is Sam Leroy Johnson? Who the fuck are these dudes? I don't know who the fuck these dudes is. All right, so I'm not finna just give people credit just because they got a good record. I need to know what's in the resume, okay? And it's not enough just to know who the guy beat. Who did the guy he beat? See what I'm saying? To educate me about these motherfuckers, all right? So I don't want to take the video too long, but I just want to educate people on this. Too many people confuse resume with record, and you know, like, it's easy for Buck Smith to accomplish what he accomplished when you're fighting the level of competition he's fighting. Buck Smith literally was at a fight, watching a fight in a local town, watching a fight, little low budget fights, and one of the fighters didn't show up for the fight, and the announcers just asked anybody from the crowd did they want to fight, and Buck Smith said, "Shit, I'll fight." He had never boxed before in his life, and got up in there in some fucking Jordans and shit, and went in there and fought with some street clothes on, and went the distance with a guy. And ever since then, Buck Smith has been fighting a couple times a week, knocking out bums. It's a good hustle, you know. I ain't mad at him at all. That's his business. It's a good fucking hustle. But I want y'all just to imagine for a minute. Follow me here, because I'm going somewhere with this. Just imagine if, because Buck Smith, you know, he fought guys like Chavez later on. Chavez destroyed him. He fought Mark Breland, and Breland beat him. Old Mark Breland beat him too, you know. But just imagine if 50 years from now something happened where there was no footage at all of Kirkland Lane. Excuse me, of Buck Smith. If there was no footage of Buck Smith's fights except for one fight, and that was the Kirkland Lane fight where he knocked out Kirkland Lane. Right? The rest of his fights, there was just no footage of him. Right? For whatever fucking reason. Imaginary reason. There's no footage. Except for the one fight with Kirkland Lane where he did good. Right? 50 years from now, you would have kids on the internet or wherever they are talking about how Buck Smith was all-time great. Look at his record. 180 wins, dude. 120 knockouts, dude. 20 fucking losses, dude. Look at his record, dude. Did you see the fight footage of him fighting Kirkland Lane? Dude, he knocked the fuck out of Kirkland Lane, dude. And Kirkland Lane beat Roberto Duran, dude. Clearly, all-time great status for Buck Smith. Right? That's what y'all will be saying 50 years from now. And people will be following that shit. But it's bullshit. Alright? That's why I don't be name dropping these motherfuckers unless I know who the fuck they are. Okay? You know, I try to stick to the guys that I can talk about, and I'm very biased when it comes to his history and ancient history with boxing. I will give credit to the guys who I want to give credit to. If I can relate to your struggle as a man, I will give you credit. Okay? Other than that, I'm not giving you no fucking credit. That's just my own personal bias. Right? This is how it is. So, you guys let me know what you think of this. Confusing resume with record. 78 Sports TV. I'll holler.